Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Super English Talks. My name is Jara, and I'll be your host today. I want you to sit back, relax, and just listen. You don't need to understand every single word. Just feel the rhythm, the sound, and the emotion behind each sentence. Because today, we're going to travel together. Not with airplanes, not with buses, but with memories. Today's episode is called Talking About Family and Childhood Memories. This is not only a listening practice. It's a journey. A soft walk back to the place where everything began, the sounds, the faces, the smells of your childhood. And as we walk together through this story, you'll learn how to talk about your own family and childhood naturally in English. So, take a deep breath. Let's begin. 1.1 The feeling of home. When I think of home, the first thing that comes to my mind is not a building. It's not walls or a roof. It's a feeling. Do you know what I mean? Home, for me, is the sound of my mother's voice calling my name from the kitchen. It's the smell of warm rice and fresh tea in the morning. It's the sound of my father's slow footsteps when he comes home from work. It's my grandmother's laughter when she tells an old story that I've already heard 100 times. When I was a child, I didn't know how special these little things were. I thought they would stay forever. But as we grow up, we learn time moves quickly and memories become treasures. And maybe that's why we remember them so clearly, because they are small pieces of love frozen in time. 1.2 Simple English Practice. Talking about family. Before we go deeper into the story, let's learn a few simple ways to talk about your family in English. You can repeat after me slowly. I live with my family. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. My father is a kind man. My mother loves to cook. I used to play with my cousins every weekend. You see? These are very natural ways to talk about your family. If you want, you can add more details. For example, my father is a quiet person. He likes reading the newspaper every morning. My mother always wakes up early to make breakfast. My sister and I used to fight, but now we're best friends. That's real English, the kind we use in everyday life. 1.3 The memory begins. Now, let me take you to a small memory of my own. It was a warm afternoon, maybe 15 years ago. The sun was soft, golden, and slow, the kind of light that makes everything feel peaceful. I was sitting outside our old wooden house under a mango tree. I remember holding a small notebook. It was my diary. I used to write everything in it, what I saw, what I felt, what I dreamed. My grandmother was sitting nearby, peeling vegetables. She had a gentle smile and silver hair that looked almost white under the sunlight. She was humming an old song, a song she said her mother used to sing when she was a little girl. That day, she looked at me and said, "Jara, one day you will grow up and leave this house. But no matter where you go, don't forget the taste of home." I didn't really understand what she meant. But now, after all these years, I do. When we grow up, we often move far from home, maybe for work, maybe for study, maybe for a new life. But the memories, they never leave us. They stay inside, like small lights in the dark. 1.4 Learning expressions from stories. Let's pause for a second, my friend. I want to help you learn some expressions from this part of the story. A warm afternoon means the weather is nice, calm, and comfortable. Under a mango tree means sitting or standing in the shade of a tree. She had a gentle smile. Gentle means kind and soft. She was humming an old song. Humming means singing softly, without words. Don't forget the taste of home. This is a poetic way to say, don't forget your roots or your family's love. Now, repeat a few lines after me slowly. You can even close your eyes if you want. I remember sitting under a tree. She had a gentle smile. I will never forget the taste of home. Beautiful. You're doing great. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to feel comfortable, to feel the English as a real experience. 1.5 When memories speak. Sometimes, our memories talk to us. Not in words, but in feelings. Have you ever walked by a place that reminded you of your childhood? Maybe a smell, maybe a sound. Suddenly, you are 10 years old again. You can almost see your old friends, your small room, your school bag, your favorite toy. I remember one sound clearly, the sound of rain on the roof. In our old house, the rain used to make a soft tap 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 sound on the tin roof. Whenever it rained, my mother would make hot tea, and we would all sit together, listening. No television, no phones, just the sound of rain and the warmth of being together. That, my friend, is the sound of love. And love, you see, doesn't always need words. It can live in simple things: a cup of tea, a shared silence, a small smile. 1.6 Speaking practice. Talking about memories. Let's practice together. When you talk about your childhood in English, you can use used to describe old habits. Here are some examples. I used to play outside every day. We used to visit my grandparents on weekends. I used to ride my bicycle to school. We used to eat dinner together as a family. Can you think of one sentence about your own childhood? Take a moment. Try saying it out loud. Even if your pronunciation is not perfect, that's okay. Speaking is about connection, not perfection. Good job. When you speak like this, you are not just practicing English. You are practicing how to tell your story, your life. 1.7 The challenge of time. But let's be honest. As we grow older, life changes. We become busy. We move to different cities or countries. We work, study, chase dreams. And slowly, those small family moments become memories. Sometimes we forget to call our parents. Sometimes we forget to ask our friends how they are. And sometimes, when we sit alone at night, we suddenly remember the faces, the laughter, the smell of food, the sound of music. That's when nostalgia visits us. Nostalgia means the feeling of missing the past, the warm, sweet sadness of remembering something you can't go back to. Do you ever feel that way? That quiet ache in your heart when you think of home? If you do, that's not a weakness. It's love remembering where it came from. 1.8 Learning words with emotion. Let's learn a few emotional words from this story. Nostalgia, a feeling of missing the past. Memories, things we remember from before. Childhood, the time when we were children. Family, the people who love and support us. Roots, where we come from. Now, say them slowly after me. Nostalgia. Memories. Childhood. Family. Roots. Well done. When you say these words with feeling, your English becomes more natural, more alive. 1.9 Reflection. The power of simple moments. When I think back to my own childhood, I don't remember expensive gifts or big events. I remember simple things. My mother singing while cooking. My father fixing the old radio. My grandmother telling me, "Don't forget the taste of home." Those are the moments that shape us, that teach us kindness, patience, and love. And maybe that's the real lesson behind today's practice. When you learn English, don't just learn the words. Learn how to feel them. Let your stories live inside the language. 2.1 Understanding family. When we say the word family, it can mean many things. For some people, family means parents, brothers, and sisters. For others, it means grandparents, cousins, or even friends who feel like family. Family is not just about blood. It is about care. It is about being there for each other. When I was young, My family was small but full of life. My father worked hard every day. My mother took care of the home with love and patience. I had one brother who loved to make jokes and laugh. And I had my grandmother, the storyteller of the house. Every person in a family has a different role, but together, they create balance, like different notes in the same song. Each one adds a sound, a rhythm, a story. 2.2 English practice, describing family members. Now, let's practice how to talk about your family in simple, natural English. You can repeat after me slowly. My father is hardworking. My mother is kind and caring. My brother is funny. My sister is creative. My grandmother is wise. My grandfather tells interesting stories. Good job. Now, let's make longer sentences. My father works in an office. He always wakes up early. My mother loves to cook. She makes the best soup. My brother likes sports. He watches football every weekend. My sister enjoys music. She plays the guitar. When you speak like this, you make your English sound more real. You are not just learning grammar, you are sharing life. 2.3 A day with my family. Let me take you back to one simple day from my childhood. It was a Sunday morning. The sky was soft and blue. The smell of breakfast filled the house. My father was reading the newspaper. My mother was cooking fried rice and eggs. My brother was still sleeping. And I was sitting beside my grandmother, listening to her stories. She told me about her own childhood, many years ago. She said, when I was a little girl, we did not have much. But we had each other. She smiled when she said that. Her eyes looked far away, as if she could see her old home again. Then she looked at me and said, Jara, one day you will have your own life. You will go far, maybe to another city, maybe to another country. But wherever you go, remember, love is the home you carry inside. I did not fully understand her words that day. But later, when I left home for the first time, I finally did. 2.4 Practice. How to talk about memories. Now it is your turn to practice. When you talk about past memories, you can use simple past tense or used to. Listen carefully and repeat after me. I used to wake up early on weekends. We used to eat breakfast together. My mother used to tell me funny stories. We used to visit our grandparents every summer. Good. Now, try to think of your own sentences. What did you used to do with your family when you were a child? Take a moment. Say it out loud, even if you are alone. Speaking helps your memory grow stronger. 2.5 Every family has a story. No family is perfect. Sometimes we fight. Sometimes we get angry or sad. But those moments also teach us something important. They teach us patience. They teach us forgiveness. They teach us understanding. I remember one day I argued with my brother. I do not even remember what it was about. Maybe something small, like who would wash the dishes. We shouted at each other. I cried. He slammed the door. A few hours later, my grandmother came to me and said, Jara, do you know why families fight? I said, why? She said, because we love each other and we care. If you did not care, you would not feel hurt. But because you love, you feel it deeply. That day, I understood something important. Love is not always quiet or easy. Sometimes love is loud. Sometimes love is learning how to say sorry. 2.6 English Practice. Talking about feelings. Now, let's learn some useful sentences to talk about feelings in English. I feel happy when my family is together. I feel sad when I miss home. I feel proud when my parents smile at me. I feel worried when my brother is sick. I feel thankful for my family. You can also say, I miss my family when I am far away. Or, I wish I could visit them more often. When you speak with emotion, your English becomes more powerful and true. 2.7 The shape of love. As I grew older, I started to see how each person in my family showed love in a different way. My father showed love through action. He worked hard every day so we could have what we needed. He did not talk much, but when he smiled, I could feel his care. My mother showed love through food. Every meal she cooked was like a warm hug. Even when she was tired, she never forgot to ask, "Are you hungry?" My grandmother showed love through words. She told stories that carried lessons. She gave advice in simple sentences that stayed in my mind forever. And my brother showed love through laughter. He made jokes, played games, and always tried to make me smile when I was sad. That is what family is, different shapes of love. Some are quiet, some are loud, some are hidden. But together, they create the language of care. 2.8 Realization. The language of the heart. When I started learning English, I realized something. The words we use to describe family are not just grammar. They are emotions. When you say, "I love my family," it is not only a sentence. It is a feeling. So when you practice English, do not just think about rules. Think about meaning. When you talk about your father, think of his face. When you talk about your mother, remember her voice. When you talk about your childhood, feel the memory. This is how language becomes alive. This is how English becomes a bridge between hearts. 2.9 Practice together. Small conversations. Let's practice a small conversation together. I will say both parts, and you can repeat after me. Hello, do you have a big family? Yes, I do. I live with my parents and my 2 brothers. Do you spend time together? Yes. We eat dinner together every night. That sounds nice. What do you usually talk about? We talk about school, work, and sometimes we tell funny stories. Now, let's try another one. Tell me about your childhood. I grew up in a small town. I used to play with my friends near the river. My grandmother took care of me when my parents were working. That sounds lovely. Do you miss those days? Yes, very much. I wish I could go back sometimes. Good work. The more you repeat natural conversations like this, the more confident you become. 2.10 Reflection. Who we become. As I tell these stories, I realize something. Our family shapes who we are, even when we do not notice it. The way we speak, the way we listen, the way we love, all begin at home. When we are children, we learn by watching. We watch how our parents talk to others. We watch how they solve problems. We watch how they show kindness. And slowly, we start to do the same. Maybe that is why, even when we grow up and live far away, a part of our family always lives inside us. Their voices become our inner voice. Their lessons become our guide. So when you talk about your family in English, remember, you are not just practicing a language. You are telling the story of where you come from. And that story is beautiful. 3.1 The little world of childhood. When we are children, the world feels so big and full of wonder. Every day is an adventure. Every corner is new. Even small things can feel magical. Do you remember the first time you saw rain? Or the first time you tried to ride a bicycle? Or when you laughed so hard with your friends that your stomach hurt? Those are the moments that build us quietly. We may forget them as we grow, but they stay deep in our hearts. They teach us how to hope, how to dream, and how to love. When I was a little girl, my world was simple. Our home was small, our street was quiet, and our days followed the same soft rhythm. I would wake up early, help my mother in the kitchen, go to school, come back, and play outside until sunset. There was nothing special about those days, yet now they feel like gold. Because simple days often become the sweetest memories. 3.2 Learning Practice. Describing your childhood. Let's take a short moment to practice together. When you talk about your childhood in English, You can use the past tense or the phrase used to. Repeat these examples after me slowly. I used to play outside with my friends. I used to watch cartoons after school. I used to help my mother cook. I used to dream about becoming a teacher. Now let's make a few longer sentences. When I was a child, I loved spending time with my grandmother. We used to sit together and talk for hours. When I was a child, I liked drawing pictures of trees and birds. I used to imagine stories about them. Good. When you practice like this, do not rush. Let the memory guide your words. English becomes easier when it connects with real feelings. 3.3 The First Lessons of Life. Childhood teaches us things that no school can teach. It teaches us trust, kindness, patience, and courage. It teaches us how to stand up when we fall. I remember my first lesson in courage. I was about 8 years old. There was a big mango tree behind our house, and all the children in the neighborhood used to climb it. But I was afraid. I always watched from below. One day, my brother said, "Jara, you can do it. Just take one small step." I was shaking, but I tried. I climbed slowly, my hands covered in dust, my heart beating fast. When I finally reached the first branch, I looked down, and for the first time, I saw the world from above. It was small but beautiful. I felt proud. That day, I learned something important. Courage does not mean not being afraid. It means moving forward even when you are afraid. And that, my friend, is a lesson that stays with us for life. 3.4 Vocabulary Practice. Lessons and Feelings. Let's learn some useful words and phrases from that story. Courage means doing something even when you feel afraid. Bravery means being strong in difficult moments. Proud means happy about what you did. Afraid means feeling scared. Lesson means something important you learn from an experience. Now, repeat these sentences after me. I learned courage when I tried something new. I felt proud after finishing my homework. I was afraid to speak English at first, but I tried. Every mistake is a lesson. Wonderful. The more you connect new words with your own life, the faster they become part of your natural English. 3.5 Childhood Friends. Childhood is also about friendship, the people who made our days brighter. Do you remember your first friend? Maybe you met them at school, in your neighborhood, or in the playground. Friends in childhood are special because they know the version of you that was free and full of dreams. I remember my best friend's name was Lena. She lived just 2 houses away. We went to the same school, shared snacks, and told each other secrets. We used to laugh at silly things and play until our mothers called us home. One day, we fought over a toy and stopped talking. It felt like the world had ended. But 2 days later, she came running to my house and said, "Let's be friends again." I smiled and said, "Yes, of course." That simple moment taught me another lesson. Friendship is not about never fighting. It is about always coming back to each other. 3.6 Practice. Talking about friends. Let's practice how to talk about friends in English. Repeat after me slowly. I met my best friend at school. We used to play together every day. We laughed and shared stories. Sometimes we fought, but we always made peace. My best friend was kind and funny. Now make your own sentences. Who was your best friend when you were a child? What did you like to do together? Say it out loud. Speaking is how language grows inside you. 3.7 The School Days. For many of us, childhood also means school days, classrooms, teachers, notebooks, and long mornings. Do you remember your first day of school? I do. I was so nervous that I could not speak. My mother held my hand tightly and said, "You will be fine." When I entered the classroom, everything looked big, the tables, the blackboard, even the teacher. But after a few days, I started to like it. I liked learning new things. I liked writing with chalk on the board. And I liked the feeling of walking home after school with my friends, laughing and eating snacks. School was not always easy. Sometimes I made mistakes. Sometimes I was afraid to answer in class. But slowly, I learned that mistakes are part of learning. Every wrong answer leads you to the right one. 3.8 English Practice. Talking about school life. Let's learn some ways to talk about your school life in English. I went to a small school in my town. My favorite subject was English. My teacher was kind and patient. I used to sit near the window. I learned to read, write, and make friends. Good. Now let's try longer sentences. When I was a student, I enjoyed learning stories in English. I used to feel nervous before exams. But my teacher always said, "Do your best," and that is enough. Wonderful. You can practice these sentences by talking about your own school memories. 3.9 Realization. The quiet teachers. Sometimes, our teachers are not only in school. They can be people around us. A parent, a friend, a neighbor, even a stranger can teach us something important. When I was about 10 years old, there was an old man who lived at the end of our street. He used to fix bicycles. One day, my bicycle chain broke, and I went to him for help. He smiled and said, "You can try first." I said, "But I don't know how." He said, "You will never know unless you try." He showed me how to use the tools, how to fit the chain back in place. It took me a long time, but I did it. He smiled and said, "See, now you have learned something new." That day, I realized that learning is not only in books. It is in every moment when we try something with courage. 3.10 Reflection. What childhood teaches us. When I look back now, I see that childhood is not just a time of life. It is a teacher. It teaches us how to see the world, how to dream, and how to love. It teaches us how to fall and how to get up again. Every small moment, good or bad, shapes who we are. Even pain has lessons. Even silence has meaning. When you talk about your childhood in English, try to feel it. Close your eyes and remember the faces, the sounds, the smells. Then speak. Let your words come from your heart. Because language becomes beautiful when it carries memory. For point one, the moment we start to change. There is a time in life when everything begins to feel different. Maybe it happens in our teenage years, maybe a little earlier, maybe later. We start to notice new feelings. We start to think about the future. We begin to ask ourselves questions. Who am I? What do I want to do? Where do I belong? I remember when I first felt that change. I was about 13. One evening, I sat on the roof of our house, looking at the sky. The stars looked closer than before. The wind felt stronger. And inside me, there was a small voice saying, "The world is bigger than you think." That was the first time I realized that life is not just about home and school. It is about finding your own path. 4.2 English Practice. Talking about change. Let us practice how to talk about changes in English. Repeat these sentences slowly with me. I am not the same person I used to be. I have changed a lot since I was a child. I started to think differently. I learned to make my own decisions. I became more independent. Now, let us make longer sentences. When I was younger, I depended on my parents for everything. As I grew older, I learned how to take care of myself. Growing up taught me how to face problems on my own. Good job. You see, the word change is not only about the outside world. It is also about the inside, our heart, our thoughts, and our dreams. For point 3, the dream years. When we grow up, we start to dream more seriously. Maybe you dreamed of becoming a doctor, a teacher, a singer, or a traveler. Dreams make life exciting. They give direction to our days. But sometimes, Dreams also meet reality, and that is when we learn what it means to grow. When I was about 15, I wanted to be a writer. I used to write small stories in a notebook, but I was shy. I never showed them to anyone. One day, my English teacher found my notebook and said, "Jara, these are beautiful. Why do you hide them?" I said, "Because they are not good enough." She smiled and said, "Nothing is perfect at the beginning. Every dream starts small." That sentence stayed in my heart. Nothing is perfect at the beginning. And it is true. Every big dream starts as a small idea, a small step, a small moment of courage. 4.4 Practice. Talking about dreams. Let us practice how to talk about dreams and goals in English. Repeat slowly. When I was a child, I dreamed of becoming a teacher. I always wanted to travel around the world. My dream is to help other people. I hope to improve my English and speak confidently. One day, I want to live in another country. Now, make your own sentences. Think about your dream when you were younger. Then think about your dream now. Say them out loud. Good. Remember, when you say your dreams aloud, they start to feel real. For point 5, the challenges of growing up. Of course, growing up is not always easy. Sometimes, we face challenges that make us stronger. We face failure, fear, or disappointment. But these are also teachers. I remember one year when I failed a test at school. I studied hard, but the result was not good. I felt ashamed. I thought I was not smart enough. When I came home, my father did not get angry. He said, "Failure is not the end. It is a mirror. It shows you where to try again." That sentence changed my view. I learned that failure is not our enemy. It is a friend that helps us grow. Every mistake we make shows us the next step. Every fall teaches us how to rise again. For point 6, vocabulary practice. Words for growth. Let us learn some useful words from this story. Failure means not succeeding in something. Courage means trying again even after falling. Lesson means something you learn from an experience. Strength means power inside you. Hope means believing that things will get better. Now repeat after me. I learned from my failure. Courage helps me move forward. Every mistake is a lesson. My strength comes from experience. I always keep hope in my heart. Well done. You are not just learning words. You are learning how to speak with meaning. 4.7 Finding independence. Growing up also means learning to stand on your own feet. The first time you make a decision alone, it feels exciting but also scary. Do you remember the first time you had to travel alone or make a big choice without asking anyone? For me, it was the day I moved to another city for study. I packed my bag, said goodbye to my family, and took the train. The station was crowded, and my heart was heavy. I looked out the window as the train started to move. The trees, the houses, everything began to disappear. That was the moment I understood what it means to grow up. It means stepping forward, even when you are afraid. At first, it was difficult. New people, new city, new life. But slowly, I learned how to live. I learned how to cook, how to manage money, how to talk to strangers. And I realized that independence is not loneliness. It is freedom. 4.8 English practice. Talking about life changes. Let us practice together. Repeat slowly after me. I moved to a new city for work. I learned how to take care of myself. It was hard at first, but I got used to it. Living alone taught me independence. I am proud of how far I have come. Now, make your own sentences. Think of a moment when your life changed. Try to describe it in simple English. Good job. Remember, practice with feeling makes learning deeper. 4.9 Realization. The balance between past and future. As we grow older, we begin to look both ways, back to the past and forward to the future. We carry our childhood memories in one hand and our dreams in the other. Sometimes we miss who we were. Sometimes we wish to become someone new. But here is the truth. We are both. We are the child who dreamed, and we are the adult who acts. The lessons we learned in childhood become the strength we use in life. Whenever I feel tired or lost, I remember the younger me, the girl who climbed the mango tree, who dreamed of writing stories, who believed in kindness. She still lives inside me. She reminds me to keep going. 4.10 Reflection. Growing without losing yourself. Growing up does not mean forgetting who you were. It means becoming more of yourself. Every challenge, every change, every new experience adds another layer to your story. You are still the same person who once laughed in the rain, who played with friends, who dreamed of something bright. Only now you understand more. You have seen more. You have learned more. So, when life feels heavy, talk to that inner child. Ask them what made them happy. Then smile and say, I am still here. 4.11. You did so well today. You listened, repeated, and felt the story deeply. We talked about growing up, facing challenges, and chasing dreams. You learned how to describe change, courage, and independence in English. Remember, growing up is not a race. It is a journey. And you are walking it beautifully. 5.1 The power of looking back. When we look back, we do not only see what happened. We see how we changed. We see how small moments became big lessons. Sometimes we realize that even the difficult times helped us grow. I remember a day from my teenage years. I was feeling lost, unsure about my future. I had failed a small exam. It was raining outside, and I sat near the window, watching the drops fall. At that time, I felt like everything was over. But now, when I look back, I smile. Because that same failure taught me patience and strength. Without that lesson, I would not be the person I am now. That is the power of reflection. It helps you see your life with gentle eyes. It teaches you that every chapter has a purpose. 5.2 English Practice. Talking about reflection. Let us practice some sentences together. Repeat slowly with me. I learned something from every experience. Looking back helps me understand myself. My past made me stronger. Every mistake taught me something important. I am thankful for everything I went through. Now let us say a longer one. When I look back, I do not feel angry anymore. I feel grateful for all the lessons I have learned. Excellent. You are doing great. When you speak words of reflection, your English becomes more emotional and natural. 5.3 Gratitude for family. Family is not only about people who live with us. It is about the ones who give us love, support, and care. Sometimes, we do not say thank you to them enough. We get busy. We forget. But today, let us take a moment to feel gratitude for our families. I think about my mother. Every morning, she woke up early to prepare breakfast. Even when she was tired, she smiled. She always said, "Eat well, Jara. Take care of yourself." Back then, I did not understand how much effort she gave. Now I do. I also think about my father. He was quiet, but he showed his love in simple ways. When I stayed up late studying, he would silently bring me a cup of tea. He did not say many words, but his actions spoke everything. And my siblings, they were my first friends, my playmates, my team. We fought, we laughed, and we grew up together. Family teaches us the meaning of love that does not ask for anything back. 5.4 Practice. Expressing gratitude in English. Let us repeat together. I am thankful for my family. My parents worked hard for me. My family gives me love and support. I love them with all my heart. They are my strength and my comfort. Now, make it personal. Think of one family member who helped you in a special way. Say their name softly. Now say, I am grateful for you. This is how gratitude feels. Warm, peaceful, and real. 5.5 Gratitude for teachers and friends. There are other people who also shape our lives, teachers and friends. Teachers give us knowledge, but the best ones give us belief. I will never forget one of my teachers, Mrs. Elena. She once told me, Jara, you have a kind voice. Use it to tell stories that help others. That sentence changed everything for me. It planted a seed that grew into this channel, Super English Talks. And friends, they're the family we choose. We share our laughter, our secrets, our dreams with them. Some friends stay forever, others come and go, but each one leaves a small gift in our heart. 5.6 English Practice. Gratitude sentences. Repeat slowly. I am thankful for my teachers. They helped me believe in myself. My friends make my life brighter. I learned many things from them. I will always remember their kindness. Now, say this longer one. I am grateful for everyone who helped me grow, even in small ways. That is beautiful. Your voice sounds softer when you speak with gratitude, because the heart leads the words. 5.7 Finding meaning in difficult times. Let us talk about something deeper. Sometimes life is not easy. We lose people. We face pain or loneliness. And we ask, why did this happen to me? But over time, we begin to see that even pain has a meaning. It teaches compassion. It teaches strength. It makes us appreciate happiness more deeply. I remember when I had to say goodbye to my grandmother. She was one of the kindest souls I have ever known. She told me stories every night when I was little. When she passed away, I felt an empty space in my heart. But later, I realized that her stories still lived inside me. Every time I speak to you, every time I tell a story on this channel, a part of her lives again. So even in loss, there is love. Even in pain, there is growth. 5.8 English Practice. Talking about difficult times. Let us say these lines slowly. Life is not always easy. Sometimes I feel sad or lost. But I learn something from every challenge. Even pain can teach me to be stronger. I believe that everything happens for a reason. Now, take a deep breath. You are learning not just English, but also emotional strength. 5.9 The magic of gratitude in everyday life. Gratitude is not only for big things. It also lives in small, simple moments. The smell of morning tea. The sound of rain. A message from a friend. A smile from a stranger. A quiet evening with family. When we notice these small things, our heart becomes lighter. Our world becomes softer. Gratitude turns ordinary days into beautiful memories. Sometimes, before sleeping, I like to close my eyes and whisper 3 things I am thankful for. It could be something as small as a warm cup of tea or as big as someone's love. This small habit makes me sleep with peace and wake up with hope. 5.10 Practice. Everyday gratitude. Repeat after me. I am thankful for a new day. I am thankful for the people I love. I am thankful for my health. I am thankful for what I have. I am thankful for being able to learn English today. Now, say your own sentence. What are you thankful for right now? Take a short pause and say it aloud. Beautiful. You just practiced not only English speaking, you practiced inner peace. 5.11 Reflection. How gratitude changes us. When we start living with gratitude, something changes inside us. We become calmer. We smile more. We complain less. We start to see light even in difficult days. Gratitude does not mean life is perfect. It means we can still find joy in the middle of imperfection. And that is one of the strongest lessons life can teach. I used to think happiness came from success, from doing big things or achieving goals. But now I know happiness comes from noticing small moments and saying thank you for them. That is real success. 6.1 Why we tell stories. From the beginning of time, humans have told stories. Before we had books, before we had phones, people sat around fires and shared tales about their lives. Stories are how we remember. Stories are how we learn. Stories are how we feel connected. When you tell a story about your life, about your childhood, your family, your dreams, you are not only practicing English. You are sharing your heart. You are showing who you are. And here is something beautiful. Your English does not have to be perfect to tell a story. It only needs to be honest. 6.2 English Practice. Starting a story. Let us practice how to start a story naturally in English. Repeat slowly after me. I remember when I was a child. Once, something funny happened to me. I will never forget the day when I met my best friend. Let me tell you about a time that changed me. There was a moment in my life I will always remember. These are simple ways to begin. Now, think of your own memory and try to start your story with one of these lines. 6.3 My first story in English. When I first started learning English, I was shy. I could read and write, but speaking was hard for me. One day, my teacher said, "Jara, today we will tell personal stories in English." My heart started beating fast. When it was my turn, I stood up and said, "My name is Jara. I want to tell you about my first day at school." My voice was shaking. I forgot some words, but everyone listened. Some smiled, some nodded, and when I finished, they clapped. That day, I learned something important. When you speak from your heart, people do not care about your mistakes. They care about your story. 6.4 Practice. Talking about experiences. Repeat these sentences slowly with me. I was nervous, but I spoke anyway. I made mistakes, but I kept going. People understood what I wanted to say. I felt proud of myself. Now say this longer one. When I speak English, I try not to worry about being perfect. I just want to connect and share my story. Very good. That is how natural communication feels. 6.5 How to tell stories in simple English. You do not need difficult grammar or big vocabulary to tell a story. You just need clear sentences, feeling, and rhythm. Here is a simple pattern you can use. Start with when and where the story happened. Then tell what happened. Then share how you felt. Finally, say what you learned. Let us practice together. When I was a child, I went to visit my grandmother in the village. One day, I lost my shoe in the river. I cried at first, but later I laughed. That day taught me not to be sad about small things. See how simple it is. 4 steps. Where, what, feeling lesson. 6.6 Vocabulary Practice. Storytelling words. Let us learn some words that help when you tell stories. Remember means to think of something from the past. Happen means to take place. Feel means to experience an emotion. Learn means to understand something new. Share means to tell others about something. Now repeat after me. I remember that day clearly. It happened when I was very young. I felt happy and free. I learned an important lesson. I love sharing my story. Excellent. Your English is growing more natural every minute. 6.7 The connection between stories and people. Have you ever noticed how a story can bring people closer together when we share something personal? People listen with their hearts. They start to trust us. They start to see themselves in our stories. Sometimes, when I tell a story about my childhood, people from different countries say, "That happened to me too." And I realize that even though our languages and cultures are different, our feelings are the same. That is the beauty of storytelling. It reminds us that we are not so different after all. 6.8 Practice. Connecting with others. Let us practice some sentences about connection. Repeat slowly. Stories bring people together. When I share my story, others feel connected. We all have similar feelings. Even if our lives are different, our hearts are the same. Now say this longer one. I want to use English to connect with people around the world. Beautiful. That is the true spirit of language learning. 6.9 Sharing stories about family and friends. Family stories are often the most special ones. They're full of love, laughter, and small memories that never fade. I remember a summer afternoon when my cousins and I decided to make lemonade to sell in front of our house. We thought we would become rich. We set up a small table and waited. Only 2 people came to buy, but we laughed all day. That small memory still makes me smile. When you tell stories like this in English, you sound natural, emotional, and real. 6.10 Practice. Talking about family memories. Let us try it together. I used to play with my cousins every summer. We did many fun things together. We laughed and learned from each other. Those days will always be special to me. Now, make your own sentence. What do you remember most about your childhood with your family? Take a short pause and answer out loud. That is your story. 6.11 Sharing emotional stories. Not all stories are happy. Some are sad, but they still carry deep meaning. You do not need to hide those feelings when you speak English. In fact, emotions make your speech more powerful. When you talk about sadness, use soft and simple words. Say how you felt and what you learned. That is enough. For example, I felt lonely when I moved away from home, but I learned how to be strong and take care of myself. Short, honest, and meaningful. 6.12 English Practice. Emotional story sentences. Repeat these lines with me. I was sad at first, but I learned from it. That time taught me to be patient. Every challenge helped me grow. Now I am stronger than before. Good. Your English now carries emotion and rhythm, just like a real storyteller's. 6.13 The art of listening to others. Sharing is not only about talking. It is also about listening. Good listeners make others feel valued and respected. When someone tells you a story, look at them, listen fully, and respond with kind words. You can say things like, "That sounds wonderful. I understand how you felt. Thank you for sharing that with me." Listening with care makes your English conversations deeper and more human. 6.14 Practice. Listening responses. Repeat these short, kind responses. That is a nice story. I can imagine how you felt. You did a great job. Thank you for telling me. That sounds amazing. Simple words, but full of kindness. That is how we build true connection. 6.15 Reflection. The heart of communication. In the end, learning English is not just about grammar or vocabulary. It is about connection. It is about understanding and being understood. When you tell your story in English, you are not only practicing a language, you are opening a window into your world. So do not wait for perfect English. Start sharing today. Your story matters. Your voice matters. Every word you speak is a bridge between you and the world. And someone somewhere is waiting to hear your story. As we come to the end of this long and gentle conversation, I want you to take a deep breath. You did it. You listened, you imagined, and you remembered. Today, we walked through the world of family and childhood. We explored how those early memories shape who we are today. Let us pause for a moment and think about what we learned together. We learned simple ways to talk about our families, how to describe people we love, how to talk about the things we used to do, and how to share small but powerful stories from our past. You see, learning English is not only about remembering grammar or vocabulary. It is also about remembering life itself. It is about learning how to express feelings, how to connect, and how to share moments that make you human. Every time you speak about your family or your childhood in English, you are doing something beautiful. You are opening your heart and letting someone see your world. Think about your own memories again. Maybe you can see your home, the place you grew up in, the smells from the kitchen, the sound of your father's laughter, the warmth of your mother's hands. Or maybe it is the sound of rain on your old roof, the color of your school bag, the first friend you ever made. These memories are not just words. They're stories that live inside you. Now, imagine you are sitting with a new friend who speaks English. They ask you, "Tell me about your childhood." What would you say? Maybe you would smile and say, "I used to play football every day after school." Or maybe, "My grandmother told me bedtime stories every night." You do not need perfect grammar. You just need to speak with feeling. English grows naturally when you speak from your heart. So, from now on, I want you to practice English in this way, not just as a language, but as a bridge between people. When you tell your story, speak slowly. Let every word carry emotion. Do not rush. Let your memories breathe through your words. That is how you make English real. Let me share something I always remind myself. When you talk about your family, you are not just remembering the past. You are giving your memories a voice. And when you give them a voice, they stay alive. So, use English to keep your memories alive. And if you ever feel nervous while speaking, remember this. Nobody in the world can tell your story better than you. Nobody else has lived your moments, seen your world, or felt your feelings. You are the expert of your own story. That is your power. Before we say goodbye, I want to give you a small challenge. After this episode, sit down somewhere quiet. Close your eyes. Think of one memory from your childhood. Then, open your eyes and say it aloud in English. Describe what you saw, what you felt, and what happened. It does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be true. That is how you train your heart and your tongue at the same time. And now, as we finish, I want to thank you for listening, for learning, and for growing with me today. You have done something very special. You have connected English with emotion. This is Jara from Super English Talks. Thank you for joining me on this journey through family and childhood memories. Remember, English is not just a language to study. It is a language to live. Until next time, keep listening, keep speaking, and keep remembering. You are doing great. You are becoming a storyteller.